Hello, everyone. My name is Kwamia Ross, and today my message is called My Final Plea for Help. Now, just yesterday, Julius Jones, who was convicted of a crime that everyone says he did not commit, was set to face an execution. Everyone advocated for him. He had the support of many celebrities who spoke out for him, including Kim Kardashian. There are a lot of political leaders and those public speakers and civil rights leaders who had spoken out on his behalf to get the governor to overturn his execution because they stated that he was, you know, innocent and he did not deserve to die. Now, because everyone sat together and worked tirelessly and effortlessly to fight on his behalf, the governor decided at the last minute to overturn Julius Jones' execution, which means that Julius Jones now gets to live another day. He gets to live. Now, the reason why I want to talk about that is because I wanted to explain to you how things are done when people stand together, when they go stand together for a cause and they fight for against injustice and they fight for the cause or the better good of something. When they fight together to expose evil and they fight for the rights of others who don't have a voice to speak for themselves. Now, I myself have been fighting tirelessly. I've been fighting behind the scenes for over 10 years, fighting for God's children who He showed me were in bondage. I fought against school districts. I fought against businesses and organizations and corporations. I've been fighting in neighborhoods, tearing down strongholds, going against the Illuminati, fighting against those who are keeping God's children in bondage. I wasn't out in the limelight. I didn't have the platform or the backing of anyone. Everything I did was behind the scenes. And as a result, the enemy has decided to retaliate against me by taking my children out of the home. For many of you who have been following my story, you know that my children were taken by Children and Family Services back in February of 2020. It was on Valentine's Day, a week before my daughter's 16th birthday, when they abruptly took my children away from me, and I had no rights whatsoever. They took my children off of false allegations that started from the Richmond Heights Local School District, claims of educational neglect, because I removed my children out of school due to the fact my daughter was having seizures and my son was getting bullied. And I've gone back and forth with this school for years and all the injustice that they have done, things that were going on, and I felt that they did this to retaliate against us. Now, there was no educational neglect. My children were actually enrolled in a subscription-based program and they were being homeschooled. The thing is, they didn't like the fact that my children were taken out of the school. So they contacted Children and Family Services. Even though they had all the information, I had made the plans and intentions to homeschool my children. Children and Family Services came out, and when the caseworker saw that my children were enrolled in school and there was no legitimate reason to take my kids out of the home, they weren't being abused or neglected, she saw everything and left. I didn't hear from her until weeks later, where she came back and said, oh, my children were not in an accredited school and I needed to have them in an accredited school. I went ahead and enrolled them in an accredited school, but Richmond Heights Local Schools District refused to release the academic records, and therefore my children were taken from me. Now, this entity, this organization has been working with all of the schools, and I had a long battle where my children were facing neglect and abuse, and all this was kept out of the awareness of anyone. The thing is, no one fought for me. They gave me public defenders who rarely fought for me, who didn't speak up for me, guardian ad litems who would not see to the needs of my children, and even a magistrate by the name of Jody Wallace, who gave the order for my children to be placed in emergency temporary custody based off of allegations that I had a mental illness, because my caseworker said that she saw that I exhibited signs of someone who had a mental illness, even though there was no mental health evaluation given. They did not give me a mental health evaluation until months after my children were already taken. And I, to this day, still have not seen the diagnosis. They refuse to allow me to see it. They have since given me 3 other mental health evaluations because they wanted it to meet the agenda that it did not face by lying and said that I had a mental illness. They have slandered my name and kept my children from me. My children had been subjected to neglect and abuse in these situations. My son was placed in a group home where he was there for nearly 16 months. Now, he finally was allowed to be returned home, but Children and Family Services, they continue to hold on to my daughter. They won't release her. They held up our family therapy. They did everything in their power that they could to keep my daughter, and they still have no legitimate reason for why they're trying to keep her. Now, my daughter, she visited with us two weeks ago. She has visits. Well, she's supposed to have visits every Monday, but a lot of time the visits are not, we don't even have those visits. And Children and Family Services, what they've been doing, whenever I say something or speak out, they'll retaliate by keeping my daughter from seeing me or manipulating her. Now, when my daughter saw me 2 weeks ago, we went to the park, her, my son, and our dog. We went to the park, had a great day. When she came home, she finally divulged to me and the rest of my family that she was sad and she'd been crying herself to sleep every single night because she misses her family and she wants to come home. My daughter has stated on more than one occasion that she wants to come home, and I've actually played evidence of this in a video about the custody trial hearing when I showed when my daughter's attorney spoke up on her behalf and said she wanted to come home. But Children and Family Services keeps trying to do everything in their power to manipulate her and keep her from coming home. They even said that they're planning on getting her a home where she can move into at 18 years old. And my question is, why are they doing all this? Why are they doing everything in their power to try to keep her from her family? There's been no evidence of neglect or abuse on my behalf. And like I said, her brother had already been released back into my custody. So why are you trying to do everything you can to keep my daughter? Now, they have tried all types of tactics, like I said, by delaying our visits, by keeping us from visiting to break and destroy the bond. They're even going to the degree of saying that, blaming me for the fact that my daughter can't make videos anymore. We recently had a conversation where she blamed me because she couldn't make videos. She said, it was my fault that she can't make videos because I was speaking out and exposing things in videos. So they chose to retaliate against my daughter. The thing is, Children and Family Services does not like when they are being exposed for the wrongdoings that they're doing. And I know a lot of people might think that I shouldn't have said anything and I made all these videos to expose what's happening. But the Lord said in the Bible, what's hidden shall be brought to light. What's covered shall be unhidden, and we're supposed to expose the kingdom of darkness. The kingdom of darkness cannot continue to be allowed to do what they want to do, not speak out. Now, I am urging people to speak out, people to stand up and fight with me, because like I said, I fought for God's children. I fought even when I faced repercussions and consequences from the kingdom of darkness. And I asked God, because I was frustrated, I said, Lord, I fought for your children, but where is anyone to fight for me? I've made podcasts, I've made tons of videos and even written books about this, but no one says anything or helps me speak out. Now I'm urging people to come forward and start speaking out, just like they spoke out for Julius Jones. I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, why? Why don't people speak out for people like me and other families who are facing Children and Family Services and going through these things behind the scenes who don't have money? And he showed me, because these people want exposure. They're doing this all for attention. They only cover those things that are heavily saturated in the media or things that will bring money in their pockets. And God knows their agenda and their motives. Now, everyone is going to have to give an account at the end of the day. And I'm just urging you all to do what's right, because this is not just for my sake. Yes, I want my daughter to come home. And I feel this is my final chance for her to be reunited with her family. Because on December 3rd, they're going to decide my fate, whether or not my child is going to be kept permanently. And like I said, this is a wicked system that is ran by Satan. It's very demonic. Their agenda is to destroy the families. Children and Family Services will do everything in their power to paint the parents in a false light. They'll check the children out of the home for any type of minor offense or anything. They'll make up lies to keep the children. They'll make up lies and paint the parents in a negative light. And half the time when there really truly are children who are suffering and being abused, they don't do anything, and they keep them in that situation where the children are subjected to abuse. There are things going on in foster care systems where foster parents are being abusive and neglecting the children, and it's all hidden and covered up. And Children and Family Services are allowed to continue to get away with this because they're being backed by the Cuyahoga County Juvenile Court system, who is just as corrupt. As I stated, my magistrate, Jody Wallace, kept my children in foster care. I filed motion after motion. She continued to delay every case. Each month, she would delay my trial and reschedule it over and over. Saying due to COVID, when she could have easily held a telephonic hearing, because there were hearings being held telephonically and virtually all over the county. This did not stop until I finally filed a grievance with the Ohio Supreme Court. Now, Jody Wallace has been fraudulent. She's been corrupt. And I was already told before by a previous attorney that she will keep kids sometimes for 9 months before even addressing the matter. These things need to be exposed because Children and Family Services want to continue holding on to my child. The Lord already revealed to me that their agenda is to destroy the family dynamic that God has created. God has created the families to be together, and Children and Family Services want to take our children and corrupt them. Now, I'm speaking out because my children have been placed into foster care, and they are now in bondage. When this first happened to me, I was disgusted and angry at God, and I could not understand why. He told me he allowed it to happen because his children were in bondage and needed freeing. Now, my children were never supposed to be permanently in foster care or kept in bondage. They were supposed to be placed into bondage temporarily so that my eyes could be exposed and I could bring awareness to the church of what was going on, and that the church was supposed to stand and help me fight. Now, I have stood out and I have fought and I have gotten my word across, and I'm asking that the rest of the church will fight with me. Now, there are other children whose lives are at stake. There are other families who are suffering at the hands of Children and Family Services, who, when they don't get their way, they will retaliate against the parents, and they will do everything in their power to keep you from seeing your children or to keep you from moving along with your case. Like I said, they did everything from holding up the family therapy between me and my daughter, to stopping our visits, to trying to stifle my voice. And I'm speaking out now because, like I said, this is the only chance I have left. My daughter should not have to cry herself to sleep every night because she wants to be reunited with her family, but this wicked organization has prevented her from doing so. Now, I gave birth to my daughter. I carried her in my womb for 9 months. I raised her. I nurtured her. I taught her. I clothed her. And I will not allow a Jezebel spirit or the corrupt government to take my child from me off of false allegations. Now, I'm going to show you reviews. You're going to see reviews following this clip, reviews from people who have also faced this Cuyahoga County Children and Family Services and the Cuyahoga County Juvenile Court systems. And I'm urging you all to please pray, keep us in your prayer, and share this message. Exposure needs to be made aware. This has to be known. And this Cuyahoga County Children and Family Services, along with the Cuyahoga County Juvenile Court systems, they both need to be investigated. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.